The town appeared on a satellite image at exactly 2:13 a.m. At 2:14, every government database in the country recognized it as real. Maps updated, road systems changed, population records appeared out of nowhere. Blackwood, population 3,126. The problem was, the town had never existed before that night. No construction permits, no historical records, no residents. But by sunrise, Blackwood sat in the middle of federal land like it had been there for decades. And by noon, the CIA was already on its way there. Agent Marcus Vale stared through the armored transport window as miles of forest rolled past outside. Across from him, Agent Lena Torres flipped through classified satellite photos on a tablet. Every image showed the exact same thing. A perfectly normal American town. Small church, gas station, school, water tower. Everything looked ordinary. Too ordinary. Marcus leaned forward slightly. Still no movement? Lena shook her head. None. No vehicles, no people outside. Nothing changes between images. Maybe it's abandoned. That's the weird part, she said quietly. The power grid is active. Marcus frowned. Streetlights worked. Electricity flowed through every building. Water systems operated normally. The town looked alive, but there were no signs of life. The driver suddenly cursed under his breath. The GPS screen had gone black, then the radio, then the dashboard clock. 2:13. Marcus looked outside again. The dirt road behind them was gone, not hidden, gone. Only trees remained where the road should have been. The transport slowed to a stop as silence settled over the forest around them. No birds, no wind, nothing. Then they saw it. Blackwood, sitting beyond the trees beneath a dull gray sky. A faded sign leaned beside the entrance road. Welcome to Blackwood, population 3,126. Lena whispered, that sign wasn't there in the satellite photos. Marcus keyed his radio. Control, we've arrived at the site. Only static answered him. Then a voice came through, low, distorted, not human. Why did you come here? The radio shrieked violently with feedback before dying completely. The driver stepped out beside them, visibly pale now. I'm staying with the vehicle. Marcus nodded once before looking toward the town. Every instinct in his body told him not to enter, but they did anyway. The main street looked frozen in time. Storefronts stood open. Streetlights flickered weakly overhead. A bicycle rested in the middle of the road like someone had dropped it and vanished. Lena crouched near it. There's no rust. Marcus looked around slowly. Everything looked recently used, fresh, but there was nobody there. No movement behind windows, no voices, just silence pressing against them from every direction. Then the church bell rang. One loud echo rolled through the town. Marcus turned immediately toward the sound. You hear that? Lena nodded slowly. A child was laughing somewhere nearby, soft, distant. They followed the sound toward the elementary school near the edge of town. The front doors stood wide open. Inside, papers littered the floor. Desks sat perfectly aligned beneath flickering fluorescent lights. Marcus stepped into the hallway carefully, then froze. Every clock on the wall displayed the exact same time, 2:13. Lena noticed the chalkboards first. The same sentence had been written over and over again across every classroom wall. He watches from below. He watches from below. He watches from below. The deeper they walked into the school, the colder the air became. Marcus could see his breath now. Then came the footsteps, slow, heavy, dragging across the floor above them. Marcus raised his weapon immediately. CIA, Identify yourself." The footsteps stopped. Silence. Then something slammed violently against the ceiling upstairs. Dust rained down around them. Lena stepped backward. "Marcus!" A thick black liquid began dripping through the ceiling tiles. Not blood, something darker. The hallway lights flickered once, twice. Then the entire hallway went black except for the classroom behind them. Marcus slowly turned toward the doorway. Something was standing there. Tall, too thin to be human. Its arms hung unnaturally low, almost touching the floor. Its face shifted constantly beneath a layer of moving darkness that looked like smoke wrapped around flesh. But the eyes glowed white. Lena fired instantly. The bullets passed through the thing like fog. The creature tilted its head slowly, then smiled. Small mouths began opening beneath its skin, dozens of them, whispering all at once. Marcus grabbed Lena's arm. "Run!" They sprinted from the school as windows exploded behind them. Glass rained across the street while the church bell began ringing repeatedly somewhere in the distance. Then the townspeople appeared, standing motionless in the middle of the road. Men, women, children, hundreds of them. None blinking, none moving. Every face locked directly onto the agents. Marcus slowed slightly. Those aren't people. One woman near the front suddenly spoke without moving her expression. "You shouldn't have entered." Then every person in the street opened their mouths at once and screamed.
The sound chased them through Blackwood like something alive. Marcus and Lena barricaded themselves inside the sheriff's station while distant screams echoed outside through the empty streets. Lena tried her phone again. Still dead. Even their watches remained frozen at 2:13. Marcus searched through scattered paperwork across the sheriff's desk while Lena peeked carefully through the blinds. "They're still out there," she whispered. Marcus found a yellowed report buried beneath the others. Only one page had writing on it. Incident Report, October 14th, 1987. Blackwood evacuation failed. Below the report sat an old photograph of the town. But this version of Blackwood wasn't empty. Families stood in the streets. Cars lined the roads. Children smiled at the camera beneath the water tower. And in the background, something stood watching them. Tall, barely visible, white glowing eyes staring directly toward the camera. Marcus slowly lowered the photo. This town existed before. Lena looked over. "What?" Before Marcus could answer, something slammed against the front door hard enough to shake the entire building. Another slam followed, then scratching. Slow, patient scratching across metal. Lena backed away from the window immediately. "Marcus!" He looked outside carefully. The townspeople surrounded the station shoulder to shoulder in complete silence. And behind them, that thing. It towered over the crowd now, its body shifting unnaturally like it wasn't fully solid. The mouths beneath its skin moved constantly, whispering in overlapping voices. "It doesn't kill you." Marcus turned sharply. The voice hadn't come from outside. It came from one of the jail cells behind them. A man sat inside the darkness of the cell, staring outward with bloodshot eyes. Marcus approached carefully. "Who are you?" The man looked exhausted, half-starved. "I was sent here 30 years ago," he whispered. Lena stared at him. "That's impossible." The man shook his head slowly. "Blackwood appears, then disappears, every few years. Different place every time." Another slam hit the front door. The lights flickered overhead. The man's expression darkened. "It watches people," he whispered. "Learns them." Marcus stepped closer. "What is it?"
The man began shaking. "I don't know." Outside, the screaming suddenly stopped. Complete silence filled the station. Then every radio inside the building activated at once. Static. A distorted voice spoke through all of them simultaneously. "You saw us." The front windows shattered inward. Marcus fired toward the darkness as the townspeople began flooding into the station unnaturally fast. Lena grabbed his arm. "Move!" They escaped through the back exit and ran toward the edge of town where the forest should have been. But the forest was gone. Only darkness surrounded Blackwood now. A massive wall of endless black stretching beyond the streets. The town had changed. Buildings leaned at impossible angles. Roads curved in directions they shouldn't. Street signs displayed names Marcus didn't recognize. Below Street Hollow Road, watchers crossing. Then Lena saw it. Headlights. A highway beyond the trees ahead. Cars moving. Civilization. Her voice cracked with relief. "Marcus, we found a way out." They ran, fast as they could. Behind them, the creature moved across rooftops with violent, jerking movements, its limbs bending wrong as it crawled closer. The highway grew nearer. Marcus could hear engines, could almost feel freedom. Then Lena stopped suddenly. The pavement beneath their feet was moving, breathing. Cracks spread across the road like veins as whispers rose from below. "Stay, stay, stay." Marcus grabbed her arm violently. "Don't listen." The creature dropped onto the road behind them with a wet, cracking sound. Its full height unfolded upward slowly. 15 feet tall. White eyes locked directly onto Marcus. The mouths beneath its skin opened wider. "You saw us." The highway ahead flickered. Cars vanished. The road disappeared completely. It had never been there. False hope. The creature lunged forward, and the screen cuts to black. 3 days later, a military search team entered the forest to recover agents Marcus Vale and Lena Torres. They found nothing. No roads, no town, no buildings, only untouched wilderness. Satellite images showed empty forest across the entire area. The official report classified both agents as missing during a navigation failure. Case closed. But one analyst reviewing the final satellite feed noticed something hidden deep between the trees in a single frame. A faded sign, barely visible. "Welcome to Blackwood, population 3,128. If the number changed, it means they never escaped.
This tape was never meant to be found, but now that you've seen it, you're part of it. If anything feels off, don't ignore it. And whatever you do, don't rewind. Subscribe for the next transmission.